Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open. For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise, visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website.
They have blown their rivals away. They have blown us all away, in truth. Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
In 49, 61, 63 or 69 when they reach the final. But the class of 2021 have delivered. Leicester City are FA Cup winners at last and are history makers at Wembley.
Leicester Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Right, Chris.
No, I think is the answer to that. This is Leicester Till I Die. This is the post-match show for, I'll say FA Cup game. I mean, it was... Oh, I'm wearing white. Let me just say, guys, if you're wondering why I'm wearing white, we surrendered, didn't we? We just put the white flag up and surrendered. I'm not even going to have a rant because we were just awful. This is Leicester Till I Die. You can watch us on YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV. If you are, please give us a subscribe and please like the video as well. It does help the channel. And if you're listening to us on catch up, thank you so much. The podcast goes from strength to strength. We're now on a new network as well, so hopefully that will help everything run a bit more smoothly on Spotify, Google, Apple iTunes, and Podcast Addict, to name but two. I'm not sure what's gone on here.
Watch us on YouTube. Listen on your favourite podcast platform or ask your smart speaker to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
I think my camera has given up the ghost. Here. So let me get Brad in and say good evening, Brad. Oh, now I'm working.
Sorry, you just used a word that doesn't compute with me today, the word good.
Well, I mean, yes, I can't. Nippon, I can see you. I'll bring you in a second. Let's just go through a few comments here. JJ was at it before we'd even gone live. 30 minutes into the game, 3-0 down against the Championship club into February and still conceding corners. Had enough now. And he follows that with Rodgers out. Hadjios Valles, players that need to leave. Soyuncu, Amate, Perez, Vestergaard, Bertrand, Tillemans. You've picked three there that didn't even play today, mate. So give Rodgers the summer to rebuild. Michael Gamble, very poor today. Chris, Leon, how are you? Good luck. Good luck making anything positive. I think we'll just give up on that today. Good luck, even. I knew what you meant. David, how are you doing? We need a leader on the pitch. And Brookline, yeah, don't give us the Perez today. No need for the tactical whiteboard, just a weight-lifting problem. Let's before we go any further, let's get a neutrals thought on it, and just bring in quickly for a couple of minutes. Nippon, good evening, sir.
How the devil are you?
I'll let Brad answer that one, but I think the second word might be off.
Pissed enough, yeah. Definitely. I'm just not even mad. I'm not even mad. I would say I was nervous this whole time building up to the game. And lo and behold, I was right to be nervous because so were the players today. So, yeah.
Nippon, you're very dark there. Have you got any light at all?
I have. Unfortunately, it's towards the back of the car.
Ah, right. Did you watch the game at all?
No, I couldn't.
I think you were probably the lucky one then. Were you surprised at the score, though?
Actually, I was. I actually did win.
Sorry, mate. Say that again.
I thought you would win.
I think, to be honest with you, I think we all did, but maybe, you know, we no disrespect to Forest, because, you know, I'm not going to say like we were that bad, because Forest played well and they deserved it. Nippon, I'm going to let you go because it's dark there and we can't really see you, but thanks for popping on. And
before you let me go, can I come back when I'm in a lighter place?
yeah, if you got anything about the game, you said you didn't see the game. If you've got something to say about the game, no problem at all, mate. And check out Nippon's channel. Is it NS Sports now?
NS Sports TV, yes.
NS Sports TV. Make sure you give that a check out. And he covers more than just football, so it's well worth checking in. Nippon, we'll speak later. Take care, buddy. Cheers. Nippon doing his travel log there. I mean, Brad, let's start at the beginning. You know, it was 4-1. That was embarrassing. But looking at that team, I looked at that team and thought, yeah, do you know what? That's not a bad team we're putting out here. We're taking it seriously. I was just surprised at the performance.
There is absolutely no way on this earth that them 11 players should step out on any football field against any opposition, whether it's conference, whether it's League One, or whether it's League Two, whether it's Premiership, whether it's goddamn Barcelona or Real Madrid, and not look at that and think we've got a chance here because that's a strong lineup, because it damn well is. That's a good team.
It is, and we can't blame Vestergaard. We can't blame Perez. I mean, you know, that back four there, Ricardo. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the I'm looking at the subs. Maybe we should have played them. But you know, Justin, Amartey, Shu Thomas, a great back four, really.
We got a back four today. What more do we want? We have the excuses. Oh, when he comes back, when he comes back now. So now what? Now what? What defensive excuses are we going to start giving? Because we had about four today. We had capable left and right wingers, wing backs that were probably the only shining light in a very bleak game. Tell me why the defensive excuses and the injury returns, where are they going? They've suddenly taken a dip out of the water, haven't they? Didn't see many people blaming injuries for this fucker, did I? Excuse my friend.
No. Terry says here, the pigeons on the pitch play better than us. Ryan Isaac Kennard, is that your mate, Ryan?
Probably knowing him.
Leicester get battered we got battered today. There's no hiding place. You know, I think sometimes you've just got to come up and go, hey. And Forest were the better team. Somebody said, like, who's the Premiership team and who's the Championship team? Hi, Aidan. JJ, I think you can come on without a camera. You can try it. Just click the link. Rob says here, hi, Rob. Saw you earlier in the watch along. What a game we picked for the watch along, eh? Very worried with the desires shown. Coaching has got to be questioned, especially about what is Colo doing? I mean, okay, it was bad, but there was no, like, where was that second half fight back that we've come to expect?
Still in the team coach's bus, mate. That's what it was, because it didn't turn up. I sat yesterday and I was watching the games on, and the typical paint dry affair. The paint dry cup was a 0-0 draw, so then I decided to watch the Brighton Tottenham game. And to be fair, Tottenham deserved to go through in the end. They were better than Brighton overall, but Brighton were still trying right up to the 94th minute. They were still trying to create something. We looked beat the second that ball crossed our line for the first time, let alone the second, third, and fourth time. At no point did I feel like we're still in this tie. We were done. And that tells me that maybe someone's run their course in charge of this club.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something positive to say, and I've got to be honest with you, I really am struggling. I mean, that defence, let's just concentrate on the defence and the goalkeeper. A few people were saying we should have swapped Ward for Schmeichel. But I mean, Ward, would Schmeichel have been any better with that defence? They're saying, oh, yes, well, he shouts out a lot during the game, whatever. But I don't think you can blame a lot. You can't, put a lot of blame at Ward's feet, no pun intended.
Anybody that's blaming Danny Ward for the majority of the goals we conceded today, first of all, have a word with yourself. Yeah. Second of all, go back over the last 7, 8, 9, could be even further back than that games, right? And watch our defending in the 6-yard box. It is a panicked mess. I've never seen a team scramble for their lives trying to get the ball away in a panic mess before. We don't clear the ball with calm, composed ease when we're under the slightest bit of pressure. When that ball's in our box, you have more chance of him volleying it straight at opposition's face and it going in our net than you have us clearing a goddamn ball. We are a defensive shambles of nerves and no composure. So get Iverson back on loan. He could have been that and day. It wouldn't have mattered. The result would have still been the same.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree totally. And, Danny Ward, to my mind, is the guy that's going to take over when Schmeichel goes. I see no reason in going out and spending money when we have got him. He's the Welsh international goalkeeper. And you can say, yeah, it's only Wales, but, it is still an international goalkeeper. And, I think he's good. We forget the games that he's played and he saved penalties and what have you.
Yeah. There's no point laying the blame at just one person, 2, 3 individuals. They were all even James Justin, who was the shining light, as I told you earlier before we went live, Chris. Yeah. Even he takes blame for it because they all have to. It's a team game. It's not It's not like the game of football is judged on a critique of all 4 sections of the pitch, like the attacking, the midfield, the defence, and the goalkeeper, and then the results given to who did the best. You lose, win, and draw as a team.
Yes, yeah. Jules 0-0 when I took the dog out for 20 minutes. On return, we were 3-0 down. Welcome along, Jules. Not seen you before. Welcome along to the channel. If you're new, give us a subscribe and give us a like on the video. It really does help. Hayden, good evening, sir. I was in the pub watching. I got a lot of stick during the game and after. I bet you did. Rodgers, Bertrand has been very poor in every game apart from Community Shield. Perez hasn't done much since his 30 million transfer. Vestergaard, I think I could give him a race. I agree, but like I say, none of the 3 played. So and Martin makes so many mistakes. Soyuncu doesn't want to be at the club no more, according to reports. Yeah, there's reports everywhere. I think Marty has been our best defender. And I mean, maybe that sums up what our problem is, Brad.
See, this is what I mean. It's easy when people let silly reports with no fruition behind them, apart from that we're going for a bad stage, is the only way they can back up that players suddenly want to leave. Because if we were sat 4th and 5th, if we'd have lost this playing Nottingham Forest last season, it would have been, Leicester are concentrating on Champions League, Leicester are concentrating on this. It's a bad result. They need to bounce back, blah, 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 nothing said. But because Leicester are 10th in the Premier League, and because it's a loss to an East Midlands rivals that haven't been relevant since the 80s to anybody, let alone to us, right? It's Soyuncu wants to leave, Youri Tillemans wants to leave. Well, I'm pretty certain, right, even if that was the case, unless he is as spineless as some people suggest he is, I don't think he wears a captain's armband today as Youri Tillemans. I don't think Soyuncu makes it into the team. And I think Rodgers is a sort of manager that would gladly play Vestergaard for some sick individual pleasure. I don't know. But if he had Soyuncu saying, I want to leave, I don't want to play for Leicester anymore, he'd go, off you go. Then the under 23s that way. I'll get rid of you in the summer.
Yeah.
Stop buying into blamed reports that rub the hands at a bad team in bad form.
Agreed totally. And I guess, Tillemans, we know he wants to leave. And I'm sorry, he is better than Leicester. because we know he's Belgium international, and but he is putting the effort in. And I know I keep going back to it, but that time when he was celebrating when we won a throw in that time. You can't accuse these. If it was one, you could say, well, he's not playing for the, he's waiting for a move. But it was the whole team. You're telling me every single player out there today couldn't give a damn. No. And I don't want to take anything away from Forest here, because like I say, Forest they were up for it. They were first to every ball. They didn't let us settle. So, as bad as we were, let's give a little bit of credit to Nottingham Forest. They did make us look. Well, we were second best, but they made us look second best. And yes, we helped them by not turning up a little bit. But, credit where credit's due. You could see they wanted it more.
Yeah, definitely. Look, that's just the FA Cup. Anyone could beat anybody in a one-off game. We've seen that with Forest before. We've seen that. To all them Man U fans that have been giving me slight jibes and jigs in the best of interest. Let's remember you absolutely had another penalty nightmare against Championship Middlesbrough. How do you feel? But we move. And it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's over, and we're having a bad season, but we still don't know how it's going to end. We don't know where we're going to be. We don't know what's going to happen, but something needs to happen quickly if it's going to be something good, because now there's no excuses for our league form being so indifferent. We've got players back. Yes, the only component that is missing, in my opinion, is Fofana, because we've got Pereira back on the bench. We've got Luke Thomas. We've got James Justin. We've got Soyuncu. We've got Amati. So you probably say the way it's going out of them two, I'd probably be dropping them Soyuncu, to be honest with you, and having Amati and Fofana back first time round. But we've got no injuries in midfield. We've got no injuries minus Vardy up front. We've got more than capable players playing in them positions. So I don't want to hear any excuses now. No. So if the FA Cup was a distraction, then I don't want to hear the Europa League Conference as a distraction. I want us to go into that. But
I can't disagree with any of that at all. I just think, with the good things about the last two games were, and certainly this one, is that James Justin managed the full 90 minutes, and that was good to see. He wasn't sort of in any discomfort or any twinges or anything, so that was good to see. And of course, Pereira's back, which is an excellent thing to see. We didn't know Castagna's the one now. Mendy, who's doing really well in the AFCON, will be back after the final tonight. And you know what? I think the thing we miss, and somebody said to me, like, don't you wish Wes Morgan was back? I'm kind of like, well, towards the end, he was more prolific for own goals than he was for his defence. But what he was good at, and somebody said this earlier, I didn't come up with this, but it's very, very true. He wasn't necessarily blessed with talent or blessed with speed, but he was blessed with a footballer's brain, and he could organise that back four. And to a point, maybe Evans is the same. Maybe we are lacking that bit of experience.
I mean, maybe, but the problem just seems bigger than that for me. I've never seen a Leicester team lose in that manner for God knows how long. I mean, we didn't even see it when we came in at half-time 4-0 down against Man City. So I don't understand how we come in at half-time 3-1 down against Nottingham Forest, who have had an absolutely fantastic first half. But Leicester fans would be coming in here going, well, that didn't go well. However, we know what to expect from our team because we see it every week. They will get this right. And maybe we still lose, but I can guarantee you we're scoring the next goal and we're going to make sure we keep going till the whistle ends and or we get the goal. So the fact is it came in at half time, mate, and I told you this, I genuinely just went, I've got better things I need to get on with.
Matthew, we can see you in the green room. I'll bring you in 1 second, mate. Just bear with me. Mike, good evening. When's Bamba returning? Still playing for Middlesbrough, mate. And as was Peltier. Maybe we should have both of them back in defense.
I know, right?
Evening, Niall. Mike says, congrats at the 1.1. Thank you very much, sir. You say if you're new and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe on YouTube. You don't have to press the notifications if you don't want, then you don't get bombarded all the time with messages, but just subscribe and smash the likes on the video. It does help. Okay, so a couple of comments here. Rob says, anybody who has played football understands how to defend a corner. Hang on a second. I stuck my phone in the cupboard then because I didn't want it going off during the game, and I think I've just missed the call. Anyway, Rob says, anybody who's played football understands how to defend the corner, and their third goal was a shambles, nobody marshalling the troops. Like I said, maybe that's what we missed with Wes. Wiz Fox, good evening. So you look like a first timer. Welcome along. Please press that subscribe button. The tactics are wrong. We keep the ball at the back too long until the opposition have reset the defence. The only time we played the ball forward, quickly Nacho scored. Excellent point. Excellent point. Hayden, I was saying earlier that Brendan Rodgers has to go now because his bottle. I'm not sorry, Hayden. I don't get this bottling. I really do not get. It annoys. It's up there for me with plastic fans. No fan is a plastic fan. If you support the club, am I a plastic fan because I don't go to the games? The fact that I'm a 7-hour return journey away and aren't working, does that make me a plastic fan? And bottling it, you lose a game. Losing a game doesn't bottle it. Did Alex Ferguson bottle it the season he didn't win anything? Sorry, I accept, I respect your opinion, but, sorry. I hate that word. Somebody who never bottles it. Matthew, good evening, sir. How are you?
Hi there, Chris. Hi, Brad. How are you both doing?
Oh, I've had enough, mate. I've had enough.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've said hello to you both, but nice to see you under these circumstances, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was just going to say hello to Door on Tour, who, if I'm right in thinking, is Des, who came onto the show as is a Forest fan, Des Oldham, and he came on and very kindly did our preview. And you all I will say is laugh away because we deserve to be laughed at. In fact, I tell you what, Des, you were the better team. You deserved it, and I'm going to give Leicester one of these. We deserve it. Matthew, did you watch the game?
Yeah, unfortunately, I tried very hard for a ticket today and didn't get one, but can't say I'm that upset about it now. But yeah, I watched the whole game, from start to finish, and I probably jumped in midway through your show, and I just thought, it's very difficult to comment on it, but I thought we're probably all in a good position together, aren't we? So I thought I'll come and give my thoughts.
No, more than welcome. I mean, Brad and me are struggling. The only good things I could take out of that game, as I said to Brad, I think Brad will probably agree, is the fact that James Justin came through 90 minutes and we saw Pereira back on the pitch again. But apart from that, I don't think there was any good things to see.
And it's over. And it's finished.
And it's over. Good point, Brad. Good point.
Yeah. I'm probably going to make a couple of comments. You may have made them already. But I cannot think, as a fan, a game I've felt so low in watching afterwards for 20 years or more, personally.
Watford playoff semi-final?
Playoff semi-final, possibly, but we showed nothing today. Absolutely nothing. I can't see a player on the pitch who was even particularly fussed about the way we were playing. I can't see the manager who was particularly fussed about what was going on, or his staff. I put it down that they're not Leicester fans. The players aren't Leicester fans. The coaching staff or the manager aren't Leicester fans. No one seemed to give an absolute shit about what was going on out there today. The only people I could see in the East Midlands who cared were Forest fans, Forest players, Forest management. I mean, it was absolutely gutting.
I think the Leicester fans. I think, in fairness, the Leicester fans.
The fans. Absolutely. Sorry, Chris. The fans present and the fans at home and us lot are absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted. But I could not see any passion out there at all. Anyone who was absolutely bothered or nothing. I mean, it's absolutely gut wrenching, to be honest with you. I don't need,
Yeah, no. You're summing it up brilliantly, Brad. I mean, taking Matthew's point on there, the only homegrown player on that pitch for Leicester was Luke Thomas. I don't think there's anybody else that was like a local lad. And like Brett Matthew said, nobody sort of on the coaching staff at the top is either. Do you think that to us fans, this is Forest? We've waited 8 years for this. Come on,
big time.
But to them, it's just another game.
Well, I mean, look, every player knows when they join the club, if they're there for a while, they learn the rivalries of the club and what it means. And I don't think anyone purposely goes out to there and doesn't take it seriously or doesn't want to beat them. I'd bloody hope for a start they're just as angry and upset in themselves as we are. And to be honest with you, Leicester were just awful all around today. And I'm sorry to say this, but there was a small section of our fans that I'm really angry and annoyed at. No more in particular than the absolute buffoon, the absolute Neanderthal that thought, I know, I'll do what that idiot did to Jack Grealish and run on the pitch. I hope you get banned for life, mate. I hope you get flooded on Twitter, and I hope you get banned for life. And I've even put a tweet where I actually put Nottingham Forest in my tweet and apologised on behalf of Leicester fans, because I ain't a fan of Leicester, I ain't a fan of football. And if you're any of the idiots, any of the fucking Neanderthals with your knuckle dragging that were chucking chairs at cafes in Nottingham Forest, don't ever associate with me. Unfollow me on Twitter. I don't want you following me, because you're not a fan. You're an idiot. And you embarrassed my club more than the players did today. And that's saying something when we just lost 4-1 to them. You embarrassed this club more. Sorry, I just have to vent that out, because that's probably the angriest thing to overtake from our performance.
Apparently, he's already been banned for life. The stupid thing is, when you do that for your 15 minutes of fame, that is it, because, you're banned for life now. And it's not like you can disappear into the crowd. It's, hang on. Your face, and I didn't see it on the telly. I must admit, did the BBC show it, or did they sort of ignore it?
I didn't see it.
They tried to do it, but it was flooded on Twitter within seconds. Luckily for Forest, well, I got to give credit to their camera crew. They obviously saw the instant going, because they had the camera on the celebration, and they switched to their board in the background just to say goal, because they could see him coming on. So it was handled well. It was trying to cat out of the eye, but if you like that, don't bother.
So he's got banned for life. He didn't even have his 15 minutes worth of fame, because nobody saw your ugly mug, mate. So quite right. Now, Rob says here, guys, I'll come to Matthew first with this. Doesn't this show you the benefit of picking hungry young players with a structure to play? Do you know what? When we played Watford, we had so many first-team players out, with injuries, with COVID, etc., and we'd cancelled the game before with the Premier League, but the FA obviously insisted on us playing. But those players put, well, I think at the time I said they'd put a lot of them, first teamers to shame. I think we've seen the difference between the Watford game and this team. I think the youngsters have put a lot of players out there. Tielemans, indeed, he weren't at the park. Lookman wasn't on form today. Barnes, and these youngsters that played against Watford, to be honest with you, should have been playing today.
I think very much to a degree as well. The Liverpool game will beat the 1-0 as well, Chris. We showed huge amount of passion in that game. We had kids in there as well. So definitely, I mean, there were people saying on Twitter today about youngsters playing today, and I agree that there should have been some kids in there today, because they've come up through the academy, they're Leicester lads, or they've been in the youth teams for a long time, and they absolutely take in what we feel about Leicester and what we feel about rivalry and playing for our club with the badge on the chest, and it's everything that you, me, Brad have taken in as fans. It means a lot to us, doesn't it? And just what I was saying earlier, it's just today was just humiliating. The fact that apart from us, and one or two other people, the pitch, it's just humiliating, wasn't it?
Yeah. Don on tour, or Don one, sorry. Yeah, we'll take the laughing emojis, and I've sat here and said Forest deserve it. Well done, Forest. But spamming the chat with it, all the time is getting a little bit too much, and you're on a 5-minute timeout. So, yeah, we'll accept it, but not over and over and over and over and over again to the detriment of the chat. Somebody that feels our pain, Maisie, good evening to you. Yeah, obviously, Man United fan. She's suffering our pain today. But I mean, Brad, do you agree there? Should maybe the youngsters should have played today because they were a darn sight better?
Well, it's easy to say that when you suffer such a bad result, but we saw these lads also drivers past every opposition we came up against, including Manchester United, on our way to winning the FA Cup last year. So, look, we always knew defending a crown was going to be hard, and I would have even said today, look, if Forest had matched us tone for tone and it had been an end-to-end game and they nicked it, I wouldn't have been so disappointed in losing some, because Forest showed that they're really up for it and they obviously want to do well. But the fact of the matter is something predominantly out there from either the instructions or, and I know we'll get onto it, but either something they're working on that the Leicester players don't understand and just don't like, and it's not working for them. Because it showed on the pitch, they seem to just be getting in each other's way, or they just seem to be doing things that they're almost in an autopilot, and it's just not working. I mean, obviously, like I said, we'll get to it on my tactical segment, but there's just something more than just no effort there on the pitch, because that's not the players that lost to Spurs and drew with Brighton. Because even in them games, you saw passage.
Yeah,
it's just It is what it is. It'll go down as a humiliating defeat, but, lap it up, not Surridge, because you're still going to be a Championship club next season. You're still going to stay irrelevant to us. So enjoy your laugh. Well done for your 4-1 win. You definitely deserved it. Good luck against Huddersfield, because I'm not really arsed now. So enjoy your 5 minutes of fame. Well done.
Devil, Maisie, in no position to laugh. Yeah, well, we're all in that position. And this is the FA Cup, because they're kidding in start. They were so unlucky against West Ham. I would have loved them to go through. And let's be honest, Matthew. Not so long ago we had Newport. We did the same against Newport, Millwall. Simon May says here Madison was awful. I think they all were. Chloe, good evening. I don't know if that's Chloe, British tea heater, Chloe, but either way, Chloe, you're more than welcome. Give us a sub and help the channel out. And yeah, Maisie, congratulations on the 1.1. Thank you. Sorry, Matthew. Yeah, I was saying, I can't remember what I was saying now.
Well, you were saying about Newport and Millwall, I think.
Yeah.
But aren't we having just one too many of these bad days?
Well, okay, I'm going to put this to you, because I've got to be honest with you. There's a few comments in here, and I'll ask you both this, and then we'll maybe get on to Brad's tactics. But I'm joining the live show, the watch along. What a what a show game to choose to do the watch along. And you're quite right, Maisie. It is the beauty of the FA Cup. We can now concentrate on the league, though, as they say. But for the last 2 seasons, in a way, we've kind of punched above our weight. It's like when we won the Premier League. If we were that good, we would not have finished lower than any other team. If no other team that was defending the Premier League finished lower than us. But like I say, that's Leicester. And then we kind of went through a bit of a hiatus, and then we came back and had 2 really good seasons under Brendan, when you could possibly say we were punching above our weight. To get that where we were, we had Arsenal, we had Tottenham both falling out of that area, but they've come back. West Ham have stayed there. They nearly took us over last season. So is it just the fact that we've had a lot of injuries, we've not played this thing, that back four's never played together, we've had a different back four virtually every game? Do we kind of say, well, hang on, let's just take, every team has a bad season. Even Alex Ferguson 1 year went a season without winning anything during his good period? Or do we say Brendan's got to go, which a lot of people are now saying? A lot of people are saying he should be going tonight. I don't think he should do. Brad, you first. Should he go, or is it just one of those seasons?
I sound like a broken record, but I think he will be forced out of the job if he doesn't make these dramatic changes. And this does not help his case. This does not help his case because, like I said, yes, 80 seconds against Spurs, we threw the game away. We got ourselves in front against Brighton and we're looking comfortable, and then we seemed to panic. And in the end, we threw away 2 points, which is what Brighton deserved. Brighton deserved at least a point from the game.
I won't argue with that.
And today, it was like after that first 20 minutes, everything kicked in. Oh, God, we're going to concede. Oh, God, if we concede. Oh, God, if we get a corner against. Oh, God. And everything seemed to just crumble around them today. And it's concerning because when that starts being a common theme and a common problem, you start to think, well, there's only one man that's going to face the chop. And the owner, no owner, maybe Watford's owner, they might do it one day just to mix things up, but no actual owner is going to sack 25 players. He's going to sack a manager. It's cheaper. But
yeah, of course,
you know what I mean? Eventually, whether it's the players or the manager that's the problem, or it's a mixture of both, and it's just a really bad run, if our owners decide that he's no longer the man for the job and they look at it over the last 7 or 8 weeks or over a sustained period of time, they're going to say, unfortunately, Brendan, we've gave you the time you've asked for. We've gave you the time to solve the problems. We've abided and taken on board the injuries, etc., and all this and all the other things you just said to us. But unfortunately, we no longer feel you're the man for the job. We wish you all the best in the future. And then Leicester are hunting in front of a manager. So,
no, I completely agree. And I can just say, if anybody says, why am I using a red drinks cabinet, not because I'm a Forest fan, but I had a bluey purple one, and would you believe I squeezed it that hard during the game I actually cracked it, so I've got to use the red one now. Matthew, before we let you go, and thanks so much for popping on, Brendan, has he got to go?
I don't think he's got to go. That's a decision for Top. There's several things to consider, in my opinion, here. Is that, let's not forget, in the last 2 seasons, we should have been Champions League. We should have been Champions League. And regardless of the fact whether we were punching above our weight or not, that's irrelevant. We were in the top 4 all season and we should have been Champions League. Okay, take that out of it, for one thing. He's come into the press and said, maybe we've hit that glass ceiling. Maybe we have achieved more than we could. But let's not forget also, before Brendan Rodgers took over, we actually won the Premier League.
Yeah.
So we're not punching above our weight. So therefore, Brendan Rodgers is kind of using it as a bit of a cop out, isn't he? So
no, I don't think he said it. I mean, it's what I felt we were maybe punching above our weight. And
no, sorry, Chris, but he went in the press and he did say we
sorry, I didn't realise. Okay, no, in that, yeah.
I just want to say quickly as well. I'm agreeing with Matt. I'm not happy to hear a manager basically turn around to a team and say, "Oh well, we were just overperforming. It weren't because you're good, and I believe you can do it again, and we can come back and keep doing this season on season. We just got really lucky and a bit fortunate. In fact, we don't deserve to be there." I think that's really not helped the dressing room.
So, if my thing is so you and I went to work on a morning and said, "Okay, you're not bad, but you're not the best." I mean, what sort of message does that give out to his players? For one thing, I'm not saying I want Rodgers out, but I just wonder how much longer he's going to be at this club, and how much longer does he think he's going to be at the club?
Yeah. Bookline, by the way, thanks for joining us. I can see I'll bring you in a second. I'm not ignoring you. So I just think, I've always said the book stops with the manager. And sometimes a manager can only take us so far. So has he taken us as far as he can? As somebody's just said here, where were we? Michael brought players back in too early, not match fit. They're never going to be match fit because we don't have any reserve leagues or anything like that. And if he didn't bring them back, we'd be saying, well, why hasn't he brought him back? he's in a bit of a no-win situation. Terry, Kidderminster probably would have turned us over today. Facebook user said the point, and this is the point exactly. Do not come back and say Graham Potter to this, but I could be honest with you, who is out there to replace him? You know, we're not Man United. Let's take the blue tinted spectacles off, as our blue tinted spectacle fan was the other day. Let us say we are Leicester City. We are not Man United. Would Poch come to Leicester City? I very much doubt it. Ancelotti never came to us for every time he was linked. And he went to Everton, who you could argue were a bigger club than us, and he walked out on them because Real Madrid came knocking. Who is out there? We would have to take a chance on somebody said earlier, Lampard or somebody like that. I just don't think there's anybody out there that's any better. Give him till the end of the season, as I don't think we're going to go down. If it's then been a whole bad season, you've then got to say, right, we're going to let you go if it has been that awful. Or you say, well, let's give him the start of the season. He's got all the players back now. They're all fit. Let's see where we go. But for me, I don't know who I'd have. Brad, Graham Potter, but I'm not joking aside. Who is out there to replace him?
No, and to be fair, I have to come out and say this about Graham Potter. Is we get on people's backs saying find your own players. You know, when we've seen links with Tillmans, Madison, and Didi for fun, and saying why can't these bigger clubs go out and leave us? You know, go and find their own 20 million steel bargains and whatnot, and we're building a project here. Get your own thing, get your own that. And I don't think Brighton fans would feel the same. I think they'd be sat there going, I think they're probably getting a bit sick of opening their local papers every day and seeing Potter would do great at Man United, Potter would do great at Spurs, Potter would do great if he replaced Rodgers at Leicester, thinking, I can get your own. And, you know, we have to look at it that way. I don't see why anybody from Brighton right now would come to Leicester because they're enjoying their project, just like Leicester fans and Leicester players have.
Not saying that Graham Potter's not a good manager. He's doing very well with Brighton this season, but he's just yet to prove himself. Like you say, anybody can have a good season, just as any manager can have a bad one. Matthew, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to bring Brookline in.
Chris, before I came on, I probably haven't made the point I meant to make when I came on 20 minutes later. But all I wanted to say was what we lack is a leadership on the pitch and players being bothered. There appears to be no one commanding anything on the pitch and players strolling about like this, they're not even interested. That's why I came on. I don't even think I made the point. But do you see what I mean, Chris?
Yeah, then maybe, like you say, Top needs to possibly have a chat with Brendan and say, "Come on, you know, where's the leadership coming from?
Where's that commander? Where's that commander on the pitch? You know?
Yeah,
we
haven't got one now. I don't think we've had one since we've got Schmeichel, but he's in goal and he can't do anything in goal for the rest of the pitch. But I do take. Well, he wasn't, no, but I agreed with that choice. I think Ward was a good choice. But Matthew, I'm going to have to move on.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Mate. Thanks for coming on.
Nice
Take
to see
care,
you,
buddy.
Bye.
Cheers. Keep the faith. And we're going to say good evening all the way from America, Brookline. Good evening, sir. How the devil are you?
Good afternoon, Chris and Brad. Can you hear me well?
We can hear you, yes.
Perfect. Yeah, but still it's freezing cold, but it's still a nice sunny day out here. So I can go outside and maybe enjoy a little bit of it.
I don't know who hates you more, me or Brad at the moment. It's wet, windy and miserable where I am. I don't know what it's like in Manchester, but that probably is the same as well.
Now, I'm not leaving my house to find out. So I'm staying there tomorrow.
Exactly. Brookline, I mean, you've obviously watched the match. We know, you know, I was waiting for the comment in the thing saying no Perez, no win again.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, let me give you some background on that comment. I don't have any connection to the to Iosi Perez or the Iosi Perez fan club, but I just go back to when we were winning, and the last time we were consistently winning was that FA Cup run with Iosi playing the 10 behind Nacho. And it's not that I think he's a great player. I think he is. I think that I always wondered why Brendan never just went back to the lineup that was just killing everybody. And so when Madison came, and I love Madison, he's a great player. He's been maybe our best player this year. But when he came back at the end of last season, Brendan just stuck him back in the lineup, and he was not playing well. And then we took loss after loss after loss. We got knocked out of the top 4. And I always wonder why the Leicester people, they scapegoat Iosi, but that was a winning lineup. So that's the reason I always, I just want to stand up for the scapegoat.
No, I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to ask Brad to reply to that, because we might start a mini World War III. But, I mean, Terry says here, when you pay the money, the choice gets pretty large, actually, as in who to replace him. I mean, let me ask you this, Brad. Okay, let's say we got rid of Rodgers, and Conte was available. He hadn't signed for Spurs. Could you see Conte actually wanting to come to Leicester?
No, because I can't see us going for him. I don't think his mentor and how he does things.
No, but whether we would go for him or not, if we approached him, could you see him coming?
No, he wouldn't. In fact, I think Conte's become a manager that's probably looking to do strong things with teams that have been sleeping giants, and right now, despite the season, Leicester aren't exactly sleeping giants, are they? They've made European ventures, they've won an FA Cup, they've won a league. So realistically, they don't need somebody to reignite them just yet. And he did that with Inter Milan, and he seems to be doing that with Spurs. He seems to know what Spurs want, which is a fucking one trophy or a cup or a spoon in their trophy cabinet. And he seemed to put out quite a strong side over the last couple of times. So he's obviously aiming to do that with Spurs. He's obviously open to bring the man that brings them a trophy. And I don't think he would look at Leicester and go, I don't see where I can improve them, because we don't have 300 million for him to clear out and come in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. That's the thing, Brad. You bring one of those managers in. Would Mourinho be able to do it at Norwich? Who won't be prepared to spend the same as a Man City or somebody like that? I mean, Brookline. I'm going to call you Brendan then. Brookline. Are you Brendan in or Brendan out at the moment?
I think we have to ride Brendan out for the season. We can't change horses right now. We have to settle for what we are. We're going to end up somewhere between 8 and 14 in the table. I think we just have to accept it at this point. But I think we are limited with right now in the defense. We're small. I mean, we're very small. I don't know if we just lined up all the defenders in the Prem, we might have 2 of the lightest central defenders. We can't jump, so we have some like a physical limitation in our players. And when these championship teams, they play balls through the air, they play balls like off the ground. We can't seem to handle any ball that's 3 feet above the carpet. So I think at this point we ride Brendan out, but what Brendan could do, it's not his nature, is some motivation. I mean, that's what I wish we had, was not just a leader on the pitch, on the field, the captain, but also maybe a coach that had some emotion, that could just yell every now and then, could kick something, something to get them going, because I think that's the only button we can push at this point to get that defense to work, is just motivation.
I see where you're coming from. I just want to say a big hello to Samsung. Greetings from Bangkok. Hello from America, Bangkok. We're going worldwide. I have to start charging more. I wish things were getting better soon at LCFC. Totally agree, mate. I hope you're all right over there in Thailand. Give us a subscribe. Give us a smash those likes. Brookline says that, and I've forgotten about the long ball, to be honest with you. You may be second, but I'm catching you up. I think maybe one or two people have stopped playing there, Brad and etc.
Excuses.
Hadia says, sorry to sidetrack. Mendy's played in the final, is one of the best players in the competition. Yet Rodgers didn't even register him for the first one of the season. He didn't. But you've got to consider that we've got to have so many homegrown players in the squad, and you've got to have so many English players in the squad. And at the end of the day, if you've got to say Dewsbury Hall or Mendy, if he left Dewsbury Hall out, people would be screaming. It is a tough job being a manager, but give Mendy his due. He's not gone on loan or moved. He couldn't get a move, and Rodgers has included him back in the squad. And last season, Brad, when called upon, he never let us down.
No, that's true. But we've now got Chowdhury and Didi and Bakari Samari that play his position. And even if we went back to playing two central defensive midfielders, which in my opinion would be completely horrific, he wouldn't get in the team. It's good to see him back in the squad in case we do get injuries, because that is the way he'd get into the team. And unless something dramatic's happened or we don't know anything that's gone on in the training ground, I just don't see how he's second or third choice for that role. But it's a good cautionary measure to have. I don't truly understand what Mendy's done incredibly wrong to not feature more for us. I mean, I know he's had his injury issues. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But I'm not really jumping for joy that he's in or out of the team, really. It's just, it's one of them, unfortunately. He's been a player that's never really got started at Leicester.
Yeah, I think Brookline, I mean, he's had his injuries, but, I think Chowdhury, to be honest with you, and he is homegrown, and I was never Chowdhury's biggest fan, but again, this season, he played in defence and he was man of the match. Maybe that's the way forward, that suddenly players do sometimes find that they're better in a different position. But all credit to Chowdhury. You just can't play everybody. That's the problem. We've got this big squad and you can't keep everybody happy.
Yeah, I think Chowdhury, he's a leader on the field with his hair, because when you see that hair, when you see that hair flying around the field, you feel you do get some energy off of him. I think the fans, the other players do, and he's cured a lot of the red card problems. Seem to have more or less diminished. Yeah. And I have to support the South Asian Brotherhood as well. So I love him for being homegrown. You're home, and I think he's a good player. I think Brendan does want to keep him.
Yes. Oh, I think so. Brookline, we're going to move on. So I'm going to say thank you so much, for popping on.
I wanted to support you today because I think today's a hard day. So
yeah, it is. You've got the rest of the day to struggle. We can go to bed in an hour.
True. Take care.
Thanks very much. Come on anytime, Brookline. Take care, mate. Up Perez. That's what I say. Brad, we're going to come to your tactics section. I'll just go through the last few comments. Brendan is clueless, sick of him, overrated manager. I presume that's Jason Bateman with the JB. A lot of players are saying that. David's saying here, David Gamble, just come on Leicester Mercury that Rodgers has blasted his players. Quite right. I think after that you do need one. Oh no, hang on a second here. This is a long one. Whoever this is, I really fear for the Liverpool game, boys. I don't think the lads in the dressing room even. It wasn't Jason apparently. I really fear for the Liverpool game, boys. I don't think the lads in the dressing room even playing for him anymore. Something is really wrong within this squad. And I get we all have opinions, but a lot today are screaming for his name. But the squad has to be blamed for today's performance as well. It will be interesting to see what happens within the next 24 hours. I don't. That was apparently was Jason Bateman. Thank you, Jason. The other one wasn't. I just don't think anything will happen before the end of the season. I don't see the point in bringing somebody in now. We've gone past the January window. You can't bring anybody in. So really, totally, what is the point? We're not near the relegation zone at the moment, and I just wonder who we would bring in. I'm going to have to say it's now time, if I can find it, for this. and I don't have any jingle music, so I don't think Brad, they're proudly holding the champions, the Premier League Cup, but he did not play like champions at all today. I'm sure Brad is. Oh, he has done a board. I didn't think his board was coming out. Brad, over to you, mate. Oh, it will if I.
Yeah, this isn't going to be an easy one to do because I can't go upstairs at the moment. So, unfortunately, you have to bear with me, folks. I will try and keep it in there. But I've got a little quiz for you all today because anyone that follows me knows I love a little bit of quiz. Right, this is how Leicester seem to manipulate things on the training ground pitch. It's intricate 5-yard passing, right? And just a quiz for you. I'll give you a few seconds to answer it in the comments down below so we can get the poll in below. But how did Leicester do this intricate 5-yard passing today? Did they do it with option A? And I know they all look familiar, but I just thought I'd give you 3 options. Did they do A, intricately, decisively, well-structured passing? Or did they do it at B, bit rushed, but fairly stable, and pretty much got the job done how intricate passing should be, needs a bit of brushing up? Or did they C, hammer the ball in at 500 miles per hour? Did they make over the top through ball passes when the ball was 5 yards in front of them? Did they completely stifle their own movement and completely make a pig's ear of it? So A was perfect, B was not so much, needs some work, and C was completely bonkers and got it wrong. Leave your votes in the comments down below so we know who wins that poll. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say we all know the answer to how badly they got it wrong today. And that was the biggest problem. Let me just quickly try and get rid of this ink. I don't have a board marker ink with me. As you can tell, I'm so professional. I do not need to get sacked on this job at all. But this was another glaring problem that I had today, and I noticed it quite a lot. And that was that my board doesn't want to organise itself. No, what it was is the same problem. We seem to revert to the same problems, and that is that here was how Leicester pretty much played the whole entire game on the ball. And I know what you're thinking, Brad. Brad, that's a few markers short. Well, that's the reason for it, because these are the only players that were relevant in going forward. What Leicester did manage to do really well, it's the only thing they managed to do get really well, was attack down the wings. But there was one problem with that, with Justin and that getting forward. Harvey Barnes, Maddison, I'll get rid of these two, Lootman, and Lootman, Barnes, Maddison, Yuri, and everybody else was bunched up. They were getting in each other's way, trying to go into the spaces that they need to be, and Harvey Barnes couldn't decide if he needed to be in the middle and Maddison was going to go out left, or if Maddison was going to go in the middle and Harvey Barnes was going to go out left. And our team just didn't keep its shape at all. They were a complete capitulation of themselves. In recent weeks, we've been able to kind of turn the other cheek to certain things and put it down to pressure on the ball. But Nottingham Forest, for the greatest respect to the way they played today, in that first 20 minutes, they let us play a game of football and we managed to mess it up ourselves because we bunched up. Harvey Barnes was tripping over himself, and we just seemed to, by the time we managed to get the ball in any form of purpose and any form of attack, we had the ball and we didn't know where to pass it to. We'd have the ball here, we'd say like a Harvey Barnes or a Maddison, sorry, and he'd have Harvey Barnes in front of him, he'd have Iniacho in front of him, and he'd have Lootman deciding whether he wanted to be here or if he wanted to be here. He couldn't really decide if he was supposed to be on the wing or not. And the problem is, and the biggest problem that came about is, he didn't know which one to pass it to because they were all man-marked. And I really do apologise that I haven't got anywhere to hang this up and do this like I would do when I'm upstairs. I'm trying to keep it still for you, and I just apologise. But the reason Maddison couldn't pass it to anybody, or Yuri couldn't pass it to any of his front three men, is because we were so predictable. We keep making the same times. You know, if I said to you, left side up here and right side down there, is, I would say, a good, let me just, biggest shot. You know, I'm going to give you a nice little statistic here, even though I don't like them because I'm good to you people, is 90% of our attacks of any width came down the left side. The other 10% was on the right. And we were so predictable on what side we predominantly attacked that this is why it appears that players like Harvey Barnes go missing in the game. And the fact is, they don't go missing. It's after 20 minutes, especially if we don't find ourselves in front. Teams know how to defend against it. They know how to set. They figure it out, and then they realise they've got away with that 20 minutes, and we still persist. We still persist. We're making the same stupid 3-yard passes to each other that we get wrong. We don't seem to be reading things wrong, and honestly, I think we could have done the whole hour discussing about everything that Leicester did. Just seemed out of sync. I mean, after Forest scored, this can go out the window. That can literally go out the window because the whole performance didn't it, guys? And tactically, we stopped getting everything wrong. We literally got everything wrong. Things that you don't want to see from your team in football. No composure. They had no composure. Bags, we want them to be as calm as cool as a cucumber or a bag of nerves. We want them to see talking and communication and encouragement. We saw lost heads, no voices, and a lack of understanding. What you want to see is a click between tactics that the manager gives you and an understanding on how to act them tactics out on the pitch. And we didn't see that either. What's that? 4 things that you want to see on a football pitch? 4 or 5 things you want to see on a football pitch? And we didn't do them. And that was just, that tactic board goes in the bin because after Forest scored, there wasn't a tactic. There wasn't an area on the pitch where it all just suddenly collapsed. It went wrong because we couldn't keep the basics going. I have never seen any team more of a nervous wreck about conceding. It was like after we didn't take our couple of chances in the first 20 minutes, we absolutely laid a brick. And then lo and behold, what happened against Tottenham, what happened for the second half of the majority against Brighton and continues to happen after their goal is the second they got themselves a goal, we fell apart. We didn't trust our defensive structure. I feel like Brendan's words in the press conference have the players trusting their ability, and it's such a mass panic in our own box. It has to stop. So tactics weren't just the problems they made. There is problems all through. And yeah, I apologise for the board state, mate. Unfortunately, I can't do it upstairs at the moment. There's some things going on in my room, but I will get it more stable.
we won't delve into that. We won't. Facebook user submitting Brad for manager's job. Board says they will get back to you within 24 hours.
I'm available.
Yeah, Statman, good evening. Hi, fellas. Hope you play like that on Thursday. But it would just be like Leicester, as I've just said to Jason, it would just be like Leicester for us to go and win that match.
Indeed at the back. Indeed at the back. We'll be all right.
Yeah. Or Chowdhury at the back. Facebook user went for C. Adios went for C. I think C was the right answer, wasn't it?
Correct. If you put C, you all get a prize of knowing your football well enough to know that we were awful today doing that.
Knowing
and
your
that needs to
football
stop.
better than Brendan, I think it is.
Yeah, and that's what they need to stop on the goddamn training ground. I'm actually sick to death of watching a training ground pitch, right? This is what I mean, and this is just, I don't mean this tongue in cheek anymore. I could put it on mute and I could hear Brendan in my own head. I could washing up, not even watching a video and playing our training ground pitch video that we do before pre-match thing, and I could hear it, pass, 5 yard, pass. They can't control the ball. They hammer it in each other. They can't control it on the training ground pitch. So why did we do it today? Why are we still doing it? I don't know. But yeah.
Hadia says there was just no aggression. Leicester lost almost every 50-50 battle. We did. Brookline's back. Brendan did not learn that Lookman is not strong on the right side. Michael, you sent me some videos of the guy around on the pitch. I'm not going to show them or anything like that because I'm not going to give the guy any publicity. And Jake... Yes, oh dear, Mr. Chris. You may, oh dear, Jake. You may, oh dear. But don't presume. You just sent me a GIF on Twitter as well. You are feeling the cockier people get, the further they've got to fall. That's all I will say. And let me be honest with you, Matt, and I wish West Ham all the best because, as I've said many times, if it's Leicester that can't be breaking the glass ceiling, and I do hope it's another small club. And if West Ham do manage to do something this season, you'll still be following in Leicester's footsteps. So well done, Jake. He knows I'm best. I knows I'm best. Richard Cox, yeah, honestly, Dad comes in after the son. Another 4-1 defeat. I can't. Is this the case that my dad's bigger than your dad? Jake.
It must be. You know what it is, Chris? It must be against these irrelevant clubs that don't win anything for years and suddenly get hype when they beat us 4-1. I'm only joking, guys.
Can I just say, it's very good coming from fans of a club that only just survived staying in the FA Cup against the team that wasn't even in the top 4 divisions. So,
I have a soft spot for West Ham, so if anyone can go on and win it now, I actually do hope it's them, to be honest with you.
I've nothing against West Ham. I really fight for that when they beat us regularly, but I do hope. I do hope the fact that if we can't do it, I'm happy for West Ham. You're having a Leicester. You've had an easy group in the Europa League, as we did last season. You deserve to go further in that. I'm a bit worried about the size of your size of your squad. So if in case you do get any injuries, you've got no strikers there. Richard, you battered Kidderminster in injury time, but you were lucky to get to injury time. That's what I'm saying. At least you survived. You did, and sometimes your name's on the cup, and maybe it's West Ham's name this time. Nippon, quickly jump on, mate. If you want to, if you've got a light as well, and if you're driving, then no. If you're in a base somewhere and you're not driving, you're not eating, I'm quite happy to have you on. If you're driving or eating a dark, then sorry, mate. It's not really good enough. Very lucky, but it's luck, isn't it? That the difference between winning something and losing. We were lucky that the Chelsea goal was ruled offside in the final. That's football for you, and I do wish West Ham all the best. Like I say, for me, I prefer it to be Leicester, but if it can't be Leicester, then do you know what I mean?
And just to back that up, this is always why I hate away ties against teams like this. It's why I hate them.
Yes, yeah.
Because that crowd makes a hell of a difference. Because they were silent as a library for the first 20 minutes until they scored. Have that note in as well.
Yeah. As you know, Alan Bennett always does his man of the match and his team rating and manager rating as well. I'll bring you on a second, Nippon. You've got a 1 rating there for the manager, Brad, 2 for the team. James Justin, he said it was hard to pick a man of the match, and it would probably be the crowd, if anything, but he did go for James Justin, which, to be honest with you, I don't think he's far off there. Do you?
I'd give James Justin a 5 on his own. He flew down that right wing on the very, 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 very rare occasion in that 10% that we actually tapped down the right because we're so oblivious and inadequate at balancing our attacks and keeping oppositions guessing. It's almost like they know what we're going to do. But when we did go down that right side, he flew past them. He was getting to the byline. He was crossing balls. It was a right wing back performance. It looked like he hadn't missed a beat in 11 months of being out of football. Hands down man of the match. I know he actually scored, but hands down man of the match is easy, Justin, from a Leicester perspective. And I'm actually offended, Alan. You've given them 1 and 2 more ratings than they deserve today, because that was shambolic.
It was. Nick says here, how do Nick? How are you? Obviously a Forest fan. And Marty, man of the match for the assist for the Johnson goal, mate. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. That was a blind pass at the worst possible time.
Yeah, well, you don't do this, mate. So I'm not even fussed at them. I can't even be angry at Marty for it. It's just ridiculous.
No. Well, one team that is still in it, because the big boys are dropping out left, right, and centre with Man United, Leicester. Chelsea is still in it. You've seen the highlights, Nippon. As a neutral, you wouldn't know which was the Premier League team, would you?
Look, you guys were shocking. I'm not going to lie. And if I'm honest, if anyone looked like the Premier League side, it was Nottingham Forest.
I don't think we could argue with that, could we, Brad?
No, we definitely can't, mate. And it's sad to say that we cannot argue with the fact that Nottingham Forest outplayed us. But, again, and I know there's probably still Forest fans in there, but I do want to reiterate that in Facebook groups and Twitter groups and on everything, it's funny how Forest fans are always saying that they don't care about us, but I'm glad you've won the 4th round. We don't care about Leicester Cup, but conveniently because we beat you, we care. So I hope they're enjoying it.
I mean, I had a Forest fan on the preview show, and he was sort of saying, it's probably more in Leicester's minds than it is, but he doesn't. When we play each other, it does surface a little bit,
Yeah, but they're not in our division, and like I said, they've been irrelevant to football in terms of anything since the 80s. So
Nick Denham, you've just said about Amati there. Do you count Leicester as like a local rival, or is it all Derby and no Leicester? Nippon, I mean, a lot of Leicester fans are calling for Brendan to go. I mean, can you see that happening, or do you think he deserves to go?
But the question is, can you get anyone better?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's not just getting anyone better. I think it's also a case of you've got to keep the positive mentality. We've got to get the right flux of manager with the right mentality. Jose Mourinho, and just hear me out here, I'm just putting out the hypothetical. Jose Mourinho is levels above Brendan Rodgers in terms of coaching ability, but does the way he goes about handling things, will it work for the current crop of Leicester players?
No.
I don't think so. So, we have to be careful with what we do and what things wish for. Because we asked for a certain manager to get sacked years ago, and then we got Puel. So,
you have always got to be careful what you wish for. And I will always say, because I actually worked for Blackburn Rovers for a time, and I can remember when I was there, that they were calling the chicken farmers had just bought Blackburn Rovers off Jack Walker, and they weren't happy with Sam Allardyce, and they wanted him out, and the owner said, okay, then we'll sack him, and they got Steve Keane and ended up in the 3rd tier. So you'd always have to be careful what you wish for.
Blackburn Rovers ended up in League One.
I think certainly went. Yes, they did, yeah. And they've only just come back now to challenging to come up. So you have got to be careful.
Let's also remember as well, speaking of them on here, and I made this point on a different note for a different reason, but I made this point about West Ham when they sacked Allardyce, and I spoke to my West Ham mates and called them idiots for saying they'd rather. It was more to do with his style of football, but they sacked Allardyce, who got them into Europe through the back door. I can't remember if it was either in the last place or the fair play rule or whatever it is.
It was a fair play award, I think they got in.
They got them into it. And lo and behold, the next season they just plummeted back down to relegation favourites. So,
I mean, sorry, carry on, Nippon.
Don't the Venkies own Blackburn Rovers?
They do, yes. They are the chicken farmers.
Why are they called the chicken farmers?
Because that's what their business is.
that might be why, mate.
They have big. It's a big chicken company of some description, but that's why. But I mean, you've got Tuchel, Nip, and you see, I still don't think that Leicester are the sort of club that if we sacked Rodgers, if Tuchel was unavailable, or if Mourinho was available, that they would come to a Leicester. And I accept that. Managers do have a sell-by date. I honestly think that. For example, Mourinho, he will do well at a club, but whether he'll actually win anything with the club or not, I don't know, because his style, I think, has come and gone. But, could you see a manager of like Tuchel's, Mourinho, sort of standard Klopp coming to Leicester?
Ronald Koeman's available.
But he did nothing at Southampton, did he?
But he did trophy with Barcelona, and they've been for years.
But as Brad said there, he didn't do anything at Everton, and it is that sort of Premier League, thing that you have to look at. It's like, Watford taking on Claudio Ranieri. Yes, he won the Premier League with us, of course he did, but he didn't keep Fulham up in a relegation battle. So why is he suddenly going to be able to keep Watford up in a relegation battle? It's got to be the right manager and the right fit. I
actually have a name for anyone that's still listening as a Leicester fan, and Nip and you may go in this. we're talking about managers having a sell-by date, and we infamously remember Martin O'Neill left us when he thought he'd taken us as far as we'd come. Yeah. And maybe the suggestions that Brendan's done that now, and maybe at the end of the season we go, look, Brendan, you've done us proud, you've done us well, but we feel you take whatever.
Try and buy out the Villarreal manager's contract.
Well, hear me out on this one. We say a manager wants to progress in his career, right? And we say, you know, we talked in briefly about Potter, who needs to build his reputation, keep doing great things with Brighton like he's doing. But for a manager who's maybe taken a certain club as far as he can, Ralph Hasenhüttl, would he not come into Leicester would he not see Leicester as a progression in his own mind? I'm not saying we are bigger than Southampton. What I'm saying is maybe he will look at us and go, right, I've kept Southampton up, I've kept us going, I've managed to get the best out of this squad, I've done as much as I can. Where's my next challenge? Leicester keep Rodgers to the end of the season, finish 8th, move on. There's his next challenge. But would Leicester fancy Ralph as maybe someone who has the right persona to continue that? It's just something I've just thought about. Maybe that's.
I think you've got to look sometimes, and you know, somebody said Lampard might have been a good fit for us, and sometimes you have to take a chance on an up and coming. You know, when we took Martin O'Neill on, what had he done? Nothing in the managerial stakes other than lower leagues. But look what he managed to do. You know, Brookline says here, Vincent
Breaking news. Bournemouth are out.
No.
Yes. Bournemouth are out.
Yeah. They're beating Championship. We're not the shittest team out of the court. We're not the shittest team out of the
We lost. I'm going to say we lost to a team that is, I think, 7th or 8th in the in the Championship. We did not lose to a club that was the lowest in the. Well done, Boreham Wood. I'm going to say well done, Boreham Wood. Thank you for that, Nip, and it was worth you coming on and just for that. Brookline says, Vincent, you see, I've got to be totally honest with you. My argument against Vincent Kompany would have been what's his experience in the Premier League, but then you could say that about
he's won it. He's
won it. As a manager. I mean,
managerial-wise, no, but I would probably feel more comfortable with someone like Vincent Kompany because I believe he's been that natural leader. He sounds like the sort of player that when no matter who was in charge at Man City, he was kind of like the young protege that maybe they had interest in, but he obviously clearly had desires to become manager. So he's obviously.
I'll say two words that will shoot my argument down totally. Patrick Vieira. You know, I mean, I thought he would do absolutely rubbish at Crystal Palace, and hats off to the guy. Nick says here, Chris Hughton's available. There was a time.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No, I think he's probably again, you know, I think managers, it's like football players. I think they have their moment in the spotlight, but football moves on, and sometimes managers don't. I wouldn't say he would be my first choice. Would I be upset if it was him? No, probably not. Melina says, Chris, don't worry, Leicester won the last FA Cup. We've won it. You're quite right, Melina. We have won it totally. And I won't let you forget that. We've won it more recently than Arsenal by a year, I grant you. Nick, the Nottingham Forest fan, says, most of us care just as much as Derby. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Nick, mainly because you've been a superior than us for years and we haven't had a chance to play you regularly. You see, I was talking to the just while I'm asking you guys in the chat this question, guys, I just want you to put one word in the chat now. Rodgers, sacked or keep? If you think we should sack him, or stay or go. If you think he should go now, type go in. I haven't got time to put the poll up, but if you want him to stay, if you think he'll stay, put stay in. And we'll have a thing. But just coming back, first of all, I'll say to you, Nippon, as the neutral here, when Nottingham Forest came up, and I think they won it the same year. Did they win it the same season as they came up, or the season afterwards? But Nottingham Forest won the Premier League. Was that bigger than Leicester winning it?
Probably Nottingham Forest winning the Premier League.
Yeah.
Was
It
this
wasn't the Premier League, was it? It was division.
Well, it was the first division then. Yeah, it was the first division then. In fairness, yeah.
Right. I'll say it. Probably not, because Nottingham Forest were winning stuff back in the 80s. Like they were winning Champions Leagues. They were winning stuff. So no, I wouldn't say it was it was bigger because it's like when they're winning because they're meant to win it because they were winning stuff.
I think as well, Brad. I mean, there wasn't a huge difference between the big clubs and the smaller clubs then, cash-wise.
Sorry, what was that, mate?
Sorry, there's no difference. I think there wasn't as big a gulf in class between the top 2 or 3 teams, money-wise, as there was when we came up. So I think that's why ours is probably the bigger achievement.
I mean, you can look at it as many ways as you like. It doesn't take away from the fact that they came up to the division and won it. Whether they were better suited, better quality players, and it was more viable, you can argue it. You don't need to look at. I wasn't born then, so I couldn't comment on it without watching that season.
Thank you, Brad. Stick the knife in when I'm having a bad day.
But, I know, right?
2 words, Brad. Et tu, Brute.
Oh wow. You could look at it. It doesn't take anything away. I mean, we wouldn't like to be sat here in 20 years' time, people looking at ours saying, "Oh, well, XYZ team, were they better than what Leicester achieved?" We wouldn't like to hear people put down. But I think you have to look. If you look at it on pure paper, then it's easy to say, well, yeah, they were good in the 80s, so they probably were expecting to win a title. It was just probably the only thing that was special about it was the literally the season they got back. Yeah. But realistically, winning the league when you're not expected to is always going to be a massive, massive achievement. So,
can I just say, Nippon, you must have the biggest house I've ever seen. I don't know. I can walk around my flat with sort of like 1 second, and you've been walking around for like 10 minutes. Oh, one's just going to the West Wing now, is one, Nippon. And then when you put up with the West Wing, I'll go sit in the East Wing for a change of view, But Melina says, are you nervous for the Premier League game against Liverpool? No, because I think before this game, we would have struggled.
I'm very confident that we might get battered. So, yeah, I'm not,
yes.
I'm not nervous.
Nippon, I'm going to let you go now. Thanks very much for coming on. Give a shout out to your channel. How can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Nippon with 4 I's and 3 U's. My other Instagram, Nippon Reviews Cuisines. And you can find me on Twitter at the Nippon Sharma. And you can find me on YouTube at NS Sports TV. And the British Lifestyle Vlogger.
A choice then. We have got a choice. Nippon, well done. You're through to the next round. Good luck, mate. And we will speak soon, no doubt. Speak to you soon. Take care.
See you later, Brad.
Yeah, see you later, mate.
Cheers. We'll have to have Nippon. Oh, he's gone. And so we'll have to have him on for a quiz. Facebook user here says sack. Brookline says sack the end of the season. Another Facebook user says go. Even Melina says sack him at the end of the season. Thing is, if we're going to say now you're going at the end of the season, that'll just write the season off. Look what happened to Man City when they did that to Pellegrini. It virtually handed us the title, But where to finally end on this, where do we go from this, Brad? What can we salvage from this season?
Europa League conference. There's no reason we can't salvage that, but
yeah,
I think what will come our way over the next few weeks is once there has to be a point in the second half of the season if Rodgers is to see the season through, and probably in his own career wanting to extend it past that and save it, it's got to be a dramatic turnaround, and sorry, but it's got to start Tuesday. It has to start Tuesday. There's no more excuses on the line. There's no more reasoning. Sod's law, mate. You've got a difficult fixture. If you'd have beaten Tottenham, if we'd have held on against Tottenham, if we'd have held out against Brighton, and we'd have floored Forest Day, we'd be talking about how Liverpool's a free swing and we fancy our chances. But sorry, you've got to get it right today, because if you don't, then the season's going to end even worse than probably even you're expecting, mate. And you're the one that's probably been the one thinking that this was the burnout season, as I like to call it. Where Leicester maybe finish 7th, 8th, 9th. So we'll finish lower than that if we don't.
Yes, yeah. I just realised I haven't eaten today, and my favourite restaurant is shut. So my day gets even worse. I'm going to let you go, mate, because like I say, I just realised I haven't eaten at all today. My daughter came around earlier. So thanks very much. Onwards and upwards. It's only Liverpool in a couple of days. Come on, you Foxes.
Yeah. We'll hope for a better Tuesday, mate. Although I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll have a better Tuesday because we're not playing, but we'll hope for a better.
Exactly why.
We'll hope for a better Thursday and see you post match then, and fingers crossed that we're feeling a little bit happier.
Yeah, hopefully. Because the last time I said I wasn't confident about Liverpool, we played Ndidi at centre back, Rodgers, Ndidi at centre back. That's where we played them, and we beat them 1-0. So who knows? Who knows?
Thanks very much, mate. All the best. I'll see you. See you next Thursday.
Yep. Take care, mate.
Cheers, buddy. Bye bye. Oh, just say, I've just say if you fancy spending having a bit of retail therapy, why? A full range of Leicester Till I Die merchandise is available on our website, www.leicestertillidie.com/shop. And if you've got nothing better to do, would you please do this?
Watch us on YouTube. Listen on your favourite podcast platform, or ask your smart speaker to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
Indeed, please give us a subscribe. If you're new to channel, smash the likes, but give us a subscribe. Don't click the notification if you don't want to be bothered with all the notifications coming up. I know it is annoying, but just click the subscribe and leave the notification button, and it really does help the channel. I'm going to end and say, well done, Nottingham Forest. You absolutely deserved it today. You outplayed us. You made us look like the second tier team. Good luck against Huddersfield. I could say, and it was Forest, and I know it hurts to say it, but we've got to be honest. That's football for you. You know, when we were the underdogs, how people used to like it when we won. And I've got to say, well done, Forest, because they did absolutely deserve it. Good luck in the next round, guys. I will see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock when we've got the FA Cup review with ex-ITV sports presenter Elton Wellesby. And I think Dan might be on that as well. He's on everything, so he probably will be. 7 o'clock tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And if you're on the podcast on Catch Up, thanks for listening. Spotify, Apple iTunes, Podcast Addict, Amazon, Google, all the main podcast platforms. I'm off now to get drunk, try and get something to eat, be absolutely miserable for the rest of the night. Getting something to eat is the main thing. I'll see you tomorrow at 7. Thanks to everybody that joined in the chat. Take care and stay.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open. For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise, visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
That's all, folks.
People are on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now.